Yo, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Mastering the Law of Attraction. I'm your coach, Coach Renz, and today we're going to do a combination of two books, The Alchemist and Machiavelli's The Prince. All right. Now, yes, we are still focusing on The Alchemist, but we're going to add in a little bit of The Prince because one of my viewers on YouTube asked the question of if I was given a book list for young entrepreneurs, the top 2 to 5 books that I would recommend. Well, after going through about 30, 40 different titles and thinking about it and looking at some of my journals, I narrowed it down to 6, but that's going to be on Wednesday. So if you haven't liked the page, the Facebook page, Mastering the Law of Attraction, go like that page, follow that page so you get the notification. So if you want it live, other than that, you have to wait for Memorex. So I'm going to save it for then because it was very difficult. But when I was doing that, there's a thing, when I was going through that list, I was looking at The Alchemist, and I'm looking at The Prince by Machiavelli, and the thing about it is that I found something, what I was looking at for today, there was something that coincided from Machiavelli the Prince that really explains it, and I think it'll help you today. I think it'll help people today if they really could conceptualize this thought process. Well, in The Alchemist, he says that people see the world as they would like for things to happen, not what actually happens, right? So we see it how we want things to be, but then not how things really are. Now, Niccolo Machiavelli, who was a trainer of princes and kings, who many politicians look at, business leaders, they train and they understand this book. In one of my favorite movies, A Bronx Tale, you know, he talks about how he was in jail and he read the book, The Prince by Machiavelli, and said that he'd rather be feared than loved. But that's a whole nother discussion. But anyhow, so Machiavelli says, and I'm paraphrasing Machiavelli's, how we live is so different from how we actually are, that if a man spent his time studying how things should be instead of studying how things actually is, then he will find himself in peril, find himself in doom. Why? Because if you're studying how things should be, like let's say you're studying business and you're studying how business should function, how business should be, right? You should pay your employees $15 an hour at minimum, but you're opening up a restaurant. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You will be out of business very soon, very, very soon, because you see, in a restaurant business, your margins are so small, like 25, 35% margins in a restaurant, that if you paid your employees that much, which your employees are already going to be one of your highest costs, you will be out of business very, very soon. Very, very, very soon. You see, that kind of employment only works when you're doing something that has a value that causes people to have to pay huge amounts of money. Right? Then you can pay the people for their value. And that's one thing we need to understand, is that people are not paid based on their intrinsic value of being human. People are paid based on their value that they bring to the marketplace. You see, a sales guy may get paid higher than the accountant because the sales guy brings in sales. So his value to the marketplace, his or her value to the marketplace is higher than the accountant's value to the marketplace. So that salesperson who's getting that commission is going to make more money. I was a sales manager, and I had at least 3 of my salespeople make more money than I did because they brought in, you know, the higher volume of sales compared to the rest of my group. And so it wasn't that I threw out the group, but I just had to bring the group in to complete the amount. But that's just how it works. So as Machiavelli is saying, we have to study just how things are, not how we want them to be. And the same thing about receiving your gifts and your prayers and your blessings. The Alchemist says, always know what you want. How you get there may look different than what you expect, meaning that you may have an idea of what you want. You may have that goal, that dream, that vision of how you want it and what you want it and what it's going to look like. But your journey to get there may be different than what you expected your journey to be. Or when you get it, it may be packaged differently. It may have things in it that you didn't necessarily count on, may not even have wanted, but because you're looking at the total package, then you accept it and you say, yes, but it's the greater good that I'm accepting. Now, it also says, the Alchemist, and it coincides a bit, says that beauty is the great seducer of men, so make it appealing. This is what politicians do. This is what business do. This is just how life works. We gravitate towards things that are more beautiful. We gravitate to when we see if you had a ugly person who was like hugely unattractive, they don't get all the great roles in Hollywood. You know, you can be the best singer, but if your look isn't right, then you don't get the push that the other singers get. There has been so many movies that the movie Dreamgirls displayed this, where the girl who looked better got the bigger push because beauty is the great seducer of men. And it's not just men meaning dudes, men meaning men, human, male and female, both. That beauty seduces. This is why you beautify, you adorn things, and so that when you adorn it, people will gravitate towards it. Politicians do this the best. They do this entire thing the best, right? And we, on the other end, look at it like, well, we think this person should have been elected or they should be in office, but we got this one. How did that happen, right? How did we go there? How did that occur? And we're angry and we're trying to study and figure it out. Like, well, what happened? And now we're trying to change things, and people are trying to change. And I say we just meaning as a general, because not everybody's trying to change, but you got those groups who are trying to change and say, well, let's get the Electoral College to change what they've done for the last 200 years and do it differently. But that's just not how it's going to work, nor how it works. That Electoral College is going to do what they normally would do, whether you like it or not. And then we have the Machiavelli talks about how the honest politician can never win, that if a man is too good, then he has to learn how to not be so good, because the honest politician will lose. Because if I ran for office, I would lose, because I would tell you guys straight up what's going to happen. Like the state of Georgia, I love the state of Georgia. That's where I was born. I would tell people if I was running for the governorship in 2018 that I'm going to enforce a bullet train system, a European train system throughout the state of Georgia. We're going to do the little school vouchers so that schools have to perform. And, I'm going to get rid of the income tax, in the state of Georgia. We're going to have just a sales tax, and I'm going to revitalize South Georgia with entertainment venues like racetracks and things like that. I would go into an honest thing about it, but I'll be honest, but we got to get all the counties on board. We got to get the state on board. We got to get the EPA on board. We got to get all these people on board in order for this to happen. And in order for that to happen, I need you, the people, to be on board with me. And when we talk to them about the fact that, hey, we want this down in, we want a Indy and NASCAR track down in South Georgia, and we want a train system that makes it available so you can take a day trip to Savannah. When we talking about these kind of things and how much money it's going to cost, even though it's going to bring in jobs, because I will be honest about it, y'all won't like it. You want me to just say something like, I'm going to make Georgia the jewel of the South. We're going to bring jobs and commerce back to Georgia, and you're going to love it, and everybody's going to be great. That's what you want to hear. The honest politician will never win, because people don't like the honest politician. That's just life. That's just how it is. So stop studying how things should be. Study how things are, because your greatness is non-negotiable.